unless I'm horribly mistaken, we are going to discuss Paradise Towers.
You are not mistaken.
Oh.
Or at the very least, it is what we're going to discuss because it sounds like you've prepared for it and I have prepared for it. So even if it wasn't the intention, it's what we've prepared for. And I guess that means we have to talk about it because I think you have to do whatever you've prepared for.
Yeah, I think so. I'm Tom Dickinson.
And I'm Louis Midas.
And this is the Cloister Room,
a podcast about Doctor Who and other things.
What did you think of Paradise Towers?
Well, I don't know. My feelings on Paradise Towers were mixed.
Were they?
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, it was kind of silly and ridiculous, but it wasn't silly and ridiculous in a way that made it intolerable. So I kind of just rolled with it. And it was most certainly better than Time in the Rani. And so I kind of give it credit for just not being Time in the Rani.
And that's the story that immediately preceded it.
Right. So this is the second episode with the Seventh Doctor. And so, and I knew that going in, so I was kind of watching it, appreciating it for that. And it was mercifully much better than Time in the Rani. And so, I almost want to say I like it just because of that. I think overall it was an enjoyable episode. It just probably wasn't my favorite. And there were points where it just got really ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. It just between like the cannibalistic grandmas and the whatever guy who's like hungry.
I personally love this story.
Really?
Yeah, I really love it.
Okay, what makes you love it so much?
Well, maybe part of the reason I loved it was because I first watched it while I was watching all episodes of Doctor Who in order. And so I got to Time in the Rani, and I still hated it.
Uh-huh.
And then I watched this, and it made me feel like everything was going to be okay.
That's fair. That is a fair thing to think, because it kind of does. It kind of takes, because especially because Time in the Rani is like, this is the introduction of Sylvester McCoy. This is what his doctor's going to be like. This is how Doctor Who is going to be from now on. And then. Yeah, and then this Paradise Towers kind of pulls you back from the edge a little bit and says, no, it's not going to be that way. It's going to be this way, and maybe it'll be okay. And I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's not completely like miles away from Time in the Rani.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's very much sort of, it's in some ways it seems to me like it's kind of in the same vein, just like stylistically. I just happen to like it a lot better.
Right. It's a non-terrible story. The setting is kind of interesting. And sort of the thing that I like about it is that there's this kind of mystery that is not, that sort of reveals itself slowly over these episodes, which I don't think was really all that. Actually, I don't think it was at all present in Time in the Rani, and so because there's this kind of mystery of like, what happened to this place? It's supposed to be awesome. Why is it not awesome? I like how that is kind of all plays out, and you're sort of introduced to this sort of setting over the time, over the course of these episodes, and then you sort of figure out what's going on, and I like that. I like any episode of Doctor Who where the Doctor lands, he has no idea what's going on, and he very slowly starts to piece it all together, and I like that. I like that sort of, I don't know, procedure. So yeah, in that sense, I do like it more for that. But yeah, as you said, stylistically probably kind of similar.
I really like the Kangs.
Oh yeah.
Now I personally, and you might not agree with this, I'm of the opinion that blue Kangs are best.
Oh, I don't know though, because those red Kangs just seem so convincing. The red Kangs might be the best.
No, well, I'm pretty sure that blue Kangs are best.
Well,
anyhow,
agree to disagree.
I just like the whole. I like the whole kind of over the top ridiculousness of the Kangs, but also in a way it's just kind of like played completely straight by the people who are in the roles. It's just that like the costume and the situation and the slang that they use and the fact that their names are really weird.
Yeah, like Fire Escape
and Bin Liner.
Yes. Yeah, I do have to say I loved those names. I thought those were really fantastic. Well, and you do kind of get kind of a strong like Lord of the Flies kind of vibe from the Kangs. Like this is children left to their own devices, plus age or whatever. But I guess there are kind of like things that maybe weren't super clear to me. Well, I mean, not like that they weren't unclear to me. I think more that the story didn't really concern itself with exploring kind of interesting things like, whatever this war was, whatever caused all the grown-ups or whatever to fight in this kind of war that we don't really hear about.
The story just doesn't care.
Right. And I mean, in some sense, I'd kind of like to know more about it because I feel like that's probably also a very interesting story. But it's kind of just used to set up this premise that there's these children that were left, mostly girls that were left to basically their own devices. And this is kind of what happened. So are we to assume that they were that they were using young boys as soldiers as well? Is that
I guess we have to.
Yeah, unless like they're killed off for some reason. Like, yeah, we don't need young males. Let's just not have any or something. I don't know. Yeah, so I guess we can infer at the very least that it was a pretty messed up war.
Yeah, I mean there don't seem to be any young children around, so
right.
But probably they were using like teenage boys as soldiers, as has been done in the history of this planet. So
that's true.
In the real non-fictional world.
It also seems because the Kangs seem like they are like adults at this point. It's probably because I'm assuming that they were brought there as children, and they just kind of never really turned into adults or whatever. That the war probably didn't go so well because they never came back to pick up their kids.
I guess not, or maybe it's just still going on.
That could be. So yeah, I guess if nothing else, it's kind of almost a sad episode in that regard. There's this kind of war that the Doctor doesn't solve. He's not even interested in like finding out about like, oh, maybe I can stop this war with my Time Lordiness. He's just kind of, I don't know, he kind of gets Paradise Towers back on its feet, and then he's content with that. Well,
now they have all they need to build high for happiness. And now they can build high for happiness.
Yes, and that's really all you need.
Something about the whole like catchphrases things is almost Moffat-y.
That's true. Yeah, that does kind of remind me of Moffat.
I really like I like Pecs a lot too. He's another thing that I really like a lot.
Yeah. It took me a while to get over the fact that there was a character named Pecs, but yes, and I kind of figured it was spelled Pex, but I mean,
I believe it is.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know, something about that just that was like a new level of ridiculousness. No, but yeah, no, he's a fun character.
I think in part of the in one of the special features on the DVD. And it's been a while since I've watched them. I didn't watch them this go around, but I did when I was watching it for the first time. They mentioned that as originally conceived, that role was supposed to go to a big brawny guy, who was very muscular. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, but those plans were changed, and they gave it to this relatively shrimpy kind of average guy looking guy.
Yeah, well, with a name like Pex, I figured that's probably the name you give someone who's just like, I guess, well, because you give names at birth, I guess born with just enormous upper body strength. But yeah, that's just yeah. So it didn't really seem like a fitting name, which kind of added to the ridiculousness of it.
But I like that.
Yeah, no, it is definitely something. It's definitely unique. I will say that. I really liked, and I looked up the episode after I watched it, and I saw that the chief caretaker's performance was kind of panned when he was like, I think maybe I'm guessing it was the whole thing, but particularly when he was possessed by, what was it, Croagnon?
Yeah, the great architect.
Yeah. There's something about that I just loved. Like how he was kind of almost this zombie. It seemed like he really just wanted to keep things tidy.
Yeah, that's all he wanted.
Because he was like making a big deal about like, oh man, they're gonna get up to this floor and they're gonna make it all messy. I gotta stop that.
Yeah, I really I think the main thing that was controversial about his performance or was badly received was the possessed acting.
Yeah.
But personally, I really liked his performance throughout.
Yeah.
Like, I thought especially before he was possessed, I thought it was just like a great kind of, I don't know, kind of like a comedy villain performance.
Yeah.
But, and even afterwards when it was just completely over the top, but I think that fit the story.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it was, this was kind of a story that had no intention of taking itself seriously. And I kind of like it for that.
Yeah. And I can see how, like, if you're not on board with that, then that would push you over the edge, his performance. Mm-hmm. But I was completely on board with it, so I was ready to run with that. I was good to go.
Yeah. But yeah. I think especially with this episode, there's kind of this you have to be willing to let the ridiculous things just be ridiculous. I think that's good life advice. Something about it, just the way the mystery was built up initially, like where they're talking about the great architect, something made me think it was the master for some reason. And I was like, I don't know, I knew I had no reason to believe this, but I was just like, oh man, it's gonna be the master, and of course it wasn't. So I was wrong about that. But I don't know, something about it just sounded like it was gonna be the master. I don't know why, but I guess that was just an incorrect prediction on my part, which is not something that's terribly unique about my predictions.
Well, I mean, can't be too predictable. I mean, it's good to have things shaken up sometime.
Yeah. I
would have been kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
If it were the master.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think we kind of, yeah. Well, there was no opportunity for him to disguise himself, so it wouldn't have really worked anyway.
I'm sure he would have found a way.
He would have probably disguised himself as one of the cleaners.
Yep. Probably would have.
We actually don't know for sure if he wasn't inside one of those things.
We can never really say with any degree of certainty. This story is, according to the Mighty 200 poll, this story is the 8th worst story.
Oh wow! Now, but that's higher than Time in the Rani, though.
Yeah, that's the 3rd worst.
Okay. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement. It's better than Time in the Rani.
I think we can all at least agree on that. But I would rank it considerably higher. Like I would rank it I might even go so far as to rank it in the top 3rd of Doctor Who stories.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying something. Yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't rank it. I would probably rank it maybe somewhere in the upper half, but I don't think I'd say upper 3rd. Don't think I could go that far.
Well, okay. I guess I can live with that.
Well, I'm glad. But I did like it, and I thought it was, I don't know. I will say that it had its charms. That is what I will say.
What did you think of the swimming pool?
I thought it was kind of ridiculous how there was this clearly empty swimming pool, and then all of a sudden there's this monster that comes out of it. But it was kind of this, I don't know. At that point I just kind of accepted everything that I was seeing to just be this. I just had to accept it. I just had to accept it all.
Well, I think the thing about that is, like, a lot of this story is like really weird and bizarre. And then this swimming pool that they've been talking up the whole time, and the whole point of the story is get to the swimming pool. That's what it's all leading up to, and it's just this completely ordinary, in fact, even somewhat subordinary. Like it's kind of crappy looking. swimming pool such as you might find at like a really cheap hotel.
That's true. That's true, because they did talk this up to be like the Shangri-La of swimming pools or whatever. But yeah, there was no, like, you'd expect, like, I don't know, solid gold, whatever, lining or whatever, or like crazy things, I don't know, several fountains, just all, yeah, and no, yeah, it is. It's like, it's funny because I wasn't even really paying that close attention. But yeah, it was something that was made a big deal about, and I mean...
And when Mel arrives, she marvels at it as though it is magnificent.
It's probably something like they originally wanted to get like the swimming pool at like the Ritz or something, or whatever hotel is like probably the most extravagant, but then like the budget didn't allow for it or something, so they had to settle for like a Motel 6 or whatever. So they probably just didn't change the script. Although that would have been funnier if the only reason Mel wanted to come there was just turned out to be just the biggest disappointment to her. It could have just been that she was so sick of not being around a body of water that like any body of water was just like this huge relief to her. I also mentioned that the TARDIS had a swimming pool, but then it was jettisoned. Was that something that we saw happen?
I know that portions of the TARDIS's architecture was jettisoned during season 18.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember if it was specifically mentioned that the TARDIS swimming pool was jettisoned.
Ah, okay. But I thought it was kind of... This is another one of those things where I was like, I didn't know that was in the classic series.
Oh, it goes back even further than this, actually.
Oh, does it really?
Yes, it is. It is also in the Invasion of Time, and it is kind of much like the swimming pool in this story. It's kind of underwhelming. But although I can kind of understand why the swimming pool in the Doctor's TARDIS being more or less like the swimming pool you'd find in any American YMCA is. I mean, I find that understandable.
Yeah. Because the Time Lords are practical beings. They just need pure necessity.
Yes, pure necessity and very large collars. Well, which they are necessary. Something's got to protect those necks.
Yeah. It probably absorbs time. I don't know.
One of the ladies, the old ladies, the Rezzies in this, I think it was one of the Rezzies, is in the Harry Potter films.
Really?
As the fat lady.
Really? Ah. Yeah. I was going to say, because I thought I recognized at least one of them, but I didn't know from where, so that might have been it. And I guess it's also interesting just because, I mean, not that it's interesting, but it's weird because this episode happened a lot more recently, like, to now, that is. And so, like, the, actors haven't aged as much as actors in, say, a Tom Baker episode. Mm. So I don't know why I find that weird, but I don't know. That's interesting. So I mean, so that just not to say that like everyone must have died by now, but
well, she actually has passed away.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
But actually, I think she might have only been in the first movie as the fat lady. I think a different fat lady was in the third movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember. I mean, I remember the fat lady from the first movie, but I don't remember her appearing in any subsequent movies, although I'm sure she did.
I know she was in the third movie when the portrait is attacked by Sirius Black.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a different fat lady.
Huh. That's interesting.
One of the other Rezzies, after the two of them die, there's this one other one who's a friend of theirs.
Yes.
That's Judy Cornwell, who starred in Keeping Up Appearances.
Okay.
Are you not familiar with Keeping Up Appearances?
No.
And that doesn't mean very much to you.
No, it doesn't. What was Keeping Up Appearances?
It's a British sitcom.
Ah, well then. Is it popular?
It was at one point.
Well, I guess that's really all that matters.
It's one of the ones that Americans are likely to have heard of.
Really?
Probably second to Fawlty Towers.
Okay.
It's the one that Americans are likely to have heard of.
Okay. Well, I have heard of Fawlty Towers, so I guess I'm at least that knowledgeable in British sitcoms. the scenes with the Rezzies were just so ridiculous. And that's not to say that I disliked them, because I did like them. It's just like something about, and I don't know if it's just Mel, but I feel like Mel was just all too ready to accept help from them. Like, and it wasn't even, I don't know, it was really strange. I don't know how I feel about Mel as a companion.
I know that I don't really like her very much.
I don't mind her terribly if she's not screaming, but then when she starts to scream, I just can't take it. Because that scream is that is intense. Like, I don't know if that was in her audition and they were like, yes, we need a companion that can just really scream her lungs out. Like, I don't know if they said that, but because it's just not good.
She has this sort of manner of speaking that that kind of gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
Even when she's not yelling, when she's just speaking. She has this kind of really earnest and cheerful sounding voice.
Yeah.
Kind of along those lines that I think is sort of mismatched to Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's true. So yeah, I'm not wild about Mel, I guess. And it was kind of strange how, like, she was, because it was in that first, I don't know if it was in the first episode, but she was like tied up and running away, and then like the Resi was like, "Hey, you want some cookies or whatever?" And she was like, I don't know. It was just like, she's like, "Yeah, I would love some cookies." Not like please untie me, but just, oh man, I could totally go for some cookies right now. I don't know. That's just, and I mean, at that point, I was completely happy to just roll with everything that was going on, but I just thought that was really strange.
It was a little bit strange.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Overall, I did like this story. It just probably wasn't my favorite. But I don't know, because I did like the Seventh Doctor in this, though. Like, I thought Sylvester McCoy was really good, and I don't know, I just liked him. And so if I were watching, I guess if I were watching this as it was airing, and I was like nervous about whether or not I would like the new Doctor, I think this would have cemented in my mind that I probably would like him. So I can say that at least.
Yeah, it's a much better script for him, I think, that plays to his strengths a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's also the sort of the debut of the series' new script editor, who basically controls the creative direction of the stories.
Ah.
So Andrew Cartmel had actually been brought on board for the previous one, but he was brought on board at the very end of the process, so there was nothing he could have done to save it.
I see.
And he is largely seen as the driving creative force in Doctor Who's sort of last gasp of getting a lot better just before it was canceled.
Huh. Interesting.
So this is the first story that he had a real effect on.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it. I thought it was a good performance. I also kind of like the music in this.
Really? You know, it's funny because it sort of like, there were parts where, I don't know, it just kind of, something about it sort of reminded me of like the soundtrack to like a PS1 game, like an RPG or something. And something about that just kind of really appealed to me.
Well, it's by Kev McCullough, who also did the music. He does the version of the theme song that's used in this era, and he also did the music for Time and the Rani, which we both despised.
Right.
But here, I think, I don't know, I just really like it. I especially like the sort of the chilled out music in the scene where the Doctor is with the two caretakers, and he's thumbing through the rule book, and he tricks them.
Right.
And then there's this sort of chilled out theme, and then the Doctor Who theme tune melody sort of works its way into it.
Yeah.
Close their eyes, put their hands above their head.
And I just really like that. I really dug that.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. Because that's almost like a thing that almost breaks the fourth wall somehow. It doesn't really, like, that's not really what it does, but it just, something about it kind of almost like takes you out of it but like I don't know, for some reason right there it just kind of worked. Like it was it's almost like the Seventh Doctor's version of I Am the Doctor. Like this is the moment where like you're really gonna see Sylvester McCoy strut his stuff, and he's like tricking guards into letting him go. And like I don't know, it's there's something about it that's just really I don't know. Yeah, it just worked. I will say that it worked.
Yeah, I watched that whole scene a couple different times because I was just so taken with that particular scene and the way it was put together with Sylvester McCoy's performance as he's sort of tricking them, and the way I like that music, and then it drops out at a certain point and it goes without music for a minute or two, and then it cuts back in at this really interesting moment where Sylvester McCoy makes a comment and then the music just cuts back in with the same tune from before. It seems almost like a punctuation mark on what he's saying.
I don't really expect you to do it. But it is in there.
I just really like that particular scene. I think it was an effective use of the music.
Yeah.
Even if some of the music has some really weird dissonant stuff going on in it too, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's this one piece of music that keeps being used that goes like bum 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 ba 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 ba. That's stuck in my head. So.
Yeah. There you go.
Not quite up to the driving theme from Modern Undead.
Oh no,
in my opinion.
Nothing could ever compare to that.
But still, quite impressive.
Yeah. It was probably just I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to make music with like synthesizers and stuff that doesn't sound like an old video game. So maybe that's kind of what did it for me, just in general. But I don't know. And in some sense, I find myself kind of nostalgic for old video game music.
Well,
so.
if this sounded like a PS1 game, then it's ahead of its time.
That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. So, something to be said for that. Overall, an entertaining story. I will say that.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was trying to do something really out there and weird, and I think it mostly succeeded.
I think so too.
All in all, a story that I quite enjoy. I was excited to watch it again, and I look forward to a time in the future where I may watch it yet again.
That time can be upon you right now.
I could probably watch it whenever I would like to.
I think that's how it works. I think that's the miracle of DVDs.
That is indeed the miracle. So, shall I fire up the random selection machine?
I guess you shall.
All right. So now I think it is time for us to randomly select the story that will be discussed after Paradise Towers.
Sounds good to me.
So firing up the random thing, and the story shall be Image of the Fender.
Okay.
Image of the Fender.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Fender. It's Fendahl.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick up on that from your pronunciation of it, so I'm glad you spelled it out.
Fendahl. Fendal.
Getting it now. I am getting it now.
Yeah.
Which Doctor is this?
Oh, this features the fourth Doctor.
Ah. Well, okay then.
And Leela.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So this is your first televised encounter with Leela.
It's about time.
Isn't it just? And it's a 4-parter. It's out on DVD, I think. Yeah, it's out on DVD. Everything's out on DVD now.
That's right. Absolutely everything.
Well, I keep thinking that I need to figure out whether something's out on DVD yet, but everything except for missing episodes is out on DVD now.
Oh, is it really?
Every Doctor Who story. Yeah, they finished, or almost, I think they're finishing up the release schedule. They got a couple more to go, but.
Huh. Well, that's cool. I don't know why that surprises me, but it does. I guess it just kind of surprises me just because of how much Doctor Who there is.
Because they insist on releasing it in the way they do, a couple of episodes at a time, as opposed to whole seasons.
Well, right, there's that. Yeah, well, and it seems like that would be That would almost be too much. That'd be too much Doctor Who to release all at once.
I think there are very good reasons for releasing it in the way they do.
Oh yeah.
I think part of it's an economic reason that it's such a niche product that they really do have to milk people for all the money they can. They really do because of all the work that goes into restoring the episodes to make them look so much better than like the VHS versions.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame them for wanting money for what they do. That's not something I can blame them for.
No, certainly not. And now that's all done. So like they don't have to do it anymore. Like next time they want to release them in a new format, like they don't have to restore them all for download format. I mean, we've already got pretty good restorations of almost everything.
Yeah.
And there's more work that could be done, but there's no like everything is in, quality that's releasable, so they don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, they are dragging their feet on downloads and streaming, but they don't have to.
Yeah. Well, and that might make more financial sense. Like if they don't release things for download, then people buy the DVDs and then they make more money that way or something. I don't know. It's probably how that works. I think that's
they don't want to compete with themselves, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I certainly know that I'm gonna continue purchasing the DVDs for a bit, because I feel like I need to own more. Maybe someday I'll own them all.
It's important to own more.
It is. I think that is what consumerism tells me. Oh, no. Oh, you back?
Hello.
Hi.
You were making a very strange noise when we reconnected.
Yes, I was.